So start with an easy one. What is a clown? What does clowning mean to you?
That's an easy one. Uh,
Oh my God. What does clowning mean to me?
oof. That's a really good question, and I think that it's changed over time.
That's a great question. And I love having this conversation with other people from the Clown Conservatory and other people with clown training.
The question of what is clowning is so broad. And I love it because it was a question I had to actually think about when I started the Clown Conservatory. I did not get to the end of that question, like what is clowning? The things I got in my head about what is clowning is ubiquitous. It really is everywhere. There's professional clowning, but then there's the things that people do with each other, and even, hey man, stop clowning, which is some kind of joking, teasing in a way. There's the class clown, which is for a professional is a little annoying, but there is the truth of that. There's someone in the class looking for the funny, and that's clowning. The elements that I think are crucial to clowning are that it's embodied. It uses the whole body, which means that over the pandemic it was a little bizarre. These people who are embodied are trying to embody in 2 dimensions, and a lot of success I saw. I also think clowning is about connection. I think clowns, more than any other performing artists, the art of clowning is the relationship with the audience.
Clowning is a pretty vast art form. I feel like a lot of things can fall under that umbrella. For me, what I think of as clowning is a primarily comedic performance where the performer is connecting directly with the audience, as opposed to, say, a more traditional like theater performance where there might be a fourth wall, where you have that sort of separation, where it's like the audience is looking in on a world in a play. A clown show, the audience isn't looking in on a world. The audience is in the world with the clown. The clown is with the audience. We're all in the same place together.
For me, like clown is a specific thing. It's art form of it's physical comedy in which the performer or the character is the target of the humor, as opposed to other forms of physical comedy that maybe are pointing outward a little bit, making fun of other people, and it distinctly lacks a fourth wall.
A clown is an exaggerated version of yourself, I think.
Clown means joy, silliness, and innocence of the heart, all in one art form.
To answer what is a clown is a very hard and a very delicate and a very beautiful task. I feel that there are so many different definitions of clown culturally all over the world, and it's important to at least learn about many, many, many of them. I feel that to be a clown is to walk through the world and discover the world and stand in a perpetual state of wonder, looking at the universe. It's to be reminded constantly that the world is more beautiful. It takes pressure off you because the world is more beautiful than you could ever be. The world is funnier than you could ever be. The world is more scary than you could possibly imagine, but you're brave enough to take it on. The world offers you pain and beauty, and you have to bear up under all of it and be resilient. Ronlin Foreman always talks about a clown has to be buoyant and resilient, and I feel like his definition is an incredibly brilliant one of clown. To me, I always go back to the idea of the lens of wonder. To be a clown is in a state of constant discovery.
Clown means wizard, poet, empathizer, seer, caller, a joyful friend, just a brilliant and necessary light in the world.
What does clown mean to me? It's a really good question, and there's many theories. So take what I say and use it if it's beneficial to you. If it's not, discard it and listen to somebody else. But the way that so what clown means to me is sort of follows the path of the way that I teach clown. And when I teach clown to my students, I try to come from it from a human form. And maybe that's the actor in me, that we are these characters are human beings. And I like to focus, my clowning with my students on, I always say this, like clowns, sort of take the regular things in life and they put a magnifying glass on them, right? Like traditionally, most of us have a nose, and traditionally clowns wore these big, bright red noses so they could be seen, or, large pants. So when they shake their bottom, it's like, it really means something, right? So to me, clowning is sort of this way of taking these normal things in life and putting a magnifying glass on them. And for the benefit of humor most of the time. Sometimes clowning can be sad or touch on other things, but that highlighting, that magnifying sort of lets us laugh at ourselves. So to me, clowning is this, to be a clown is to be this exaggerated human, letting us laugh at ourselves.
What does clown mean to me? Oh, such a big question. Clown means to me, I didn't prepare for all of this. Clown is like the truest essence of failure and then coming back from it in triumph and not letting the failure weigh you down. And so it's a theatrical art form, and then I think it can also be a way of living if you take it into your everyday life. I'm still working on that part. But it's definitely a theatrical art form.
I was learning a lot from other teachers. Clown, not just the circus clown. Clown can be different. Clown can be different community, different movies or stage, or even in play. Clown, but to me, for me, I'm a circus performer, so I'm always think about clown in the circus, what they look like. So to me, clown first make people happy. Second, you're funny yourself, and you're kind. You're very kind. You not just for the audience, adults, specifically like in the Western or US, it's for the kids. You have to treat yourself nice, and then you can treat other people, especially for the kids, kind. So then if you have more skills like clown on the circus skills, you will be way better. People will respect you. So that's, to me, clown is a very kind, make people life easier, and some kind of elements when people, let's say, for example, some people have a hard day, then if you meet a clown, it should give them a release. That's to me.
I think clown is, at its basis, it's just comedic physical performance. But what a clown is in a show is so much more. They're the through line that kind of threads the things together. If there's a huge, dangerous high wire, dangerous act, and everybody's like, the clown comes out and makes a joke and lets everybody breathe and relax. But then the clown's also there if like the heating in the tent goes out, and the ringmaster is also the tent master, and he has to go out and fix the thing, and he's not there for his entrance. Your job as the clown is to run on stage and make the show keep going. Just keep the show going as smoothly as possible, managing the ups and downs, giving some levity for the drama, and sometimes being the drama itself.
Clown, to me, is a curious exploration of the world around us and the world inside of us. It's just a dynamic experience of investigation, really, that's centered around play. It's centered around playfulness, and that play might not necessarily be fun for everyone. Sometimes that play can be sometimes one-sided. That's more of an investigation that's there to kind of stir up some things that have been hidden socially or culturally or in a specific relationship. The clown is one that is investigating the world around it with a freedom that a lot of us wish that we had.
It's not necessarily silent. I know a lot of clowns can be more the physical, but I also like to mix it up with the sound and the words and playing with words and actions. Sometimes a contrast between the two. So it's a great way of connecting with people for me. It's a great way of bridging differences or making people step out of their daily routines and just see something slightly different in a slightly different way. So yeah, clowning is many things. Yeah.
I love this question. What is a clown? So I remember when I was at the Clown Conservatory, one of my teachers would always say, clown is a verb, not a noun, which I like. Thinking about clown as an energy, a state of being, rather than just one particular character. The glory of the clown is that you can be flexible and move through different portrayals or characters in one piece. You're not nailed down to like certain character constraints. Some would argue that clown doesn't need to be funny, but I would say that there is like a levity or a humorous element. And for me, a crucial part of clown is the lack of the fourth wall. So the clown is in the room with you. They see you, they hear you, same as you see and hear them.
To me, clowning is being the biggest, best version of yourself. Clowning allows a person to take parts of themselves that they might be scared to show the world and show them and be fully embraced and loved. And yeah, to me, I think that's a lot of what clowning is. It's just showing the biggest version of yourself and the best version of yourself and doing it with joy and laughter.
What is a clown? So since 2006, after I took Patty Gallagher's studio and clown at Santa Cruz, I've been working with the definition of clown based on her essay about the paradoxes of clown character. And in almost every performance I've done, I've tried to look for some of those resonances that she describes in her essay. So basically, I think of clowning as a collection of these paradoxes. The clown is both terrified and brave, ingenious and idiotic, clumsy and virtuosic. There are several others. But mostly a clown as someone who looks at the world and reacts to a response to the world by looking through the lens of wonder. And instead of despairing, tends to find joy even in very difficult situations.
Clowning to me, what clowning means to me is probably in its rawest form would be raw authenticity, raw honesty, raw emotion, and vulnerability. Basically, to be able to express oneself through complete honest emotional state on stage, and be able to have that translate to the audience in a way they understand and can relate to, because everybody has a vulnerable place in their life and who they are. And sometimes a lot of people have a hard time expressing that. Well, a clown is not only someone who has a logic about them that is backwards or upside down or the way they complete tasks, but a clown is somebody who helps the audience feel free from their vulnerabilities. And that they do that by showing those vulnerabilities themselves and laughing at them.
Well, clowning means to me, or what is a clown? I would define that as physical theater, someone who makes someone laugh, does unexpected things, and bring surprise and joy to others when they're performing. I think someone who's a clown is not afraid to be vulnerable and gives the audience a piece of themselves, like some kind of genuine or authenticity from within themselves that you don't normally see necessarily in other performers or when people are walking around in everyday life.
Okay, good question. For me, I think a clown is more like a physical comedian rather than, say, a verbal comedian. So for me, stand-up, that's someone who's using jokes, verbal wit, whereas a clown is using more physical and visual humor. They might speak, but their main way to connect with the audience is through physical humor and through visual humor. So in that case, people like Richard Pryor, most of the cast of Seinfeld, people like that are usually considered comic actors or stand-up comedians. I would also consider them clowns because Pryor could get great laughs just by the way he used his body. And so I think that physical element of comedy, that's kind of how I define a clown. And I think it broadens the field, so to speak, rather than just the red nose, the makeup, the garish costume. It's so much more than that. It's more about a physical sense for comedy.
Clowning, to me, there are many forms of clowns and clowning. I think of it as it's an ancient art form. Clown is a archetypal energy that's within all of us, I believe, and especially children and also senior citizens let their clown out a little bit more because they don't have to edit so much. And I think that that's one of the secrets, is not to edit yourself quite so much. Although there is the in performance, there's a precision that requires editing yourself. So there you go. There's that dichotomy. We're going to talk about that dichotomy of the clown a lot, I'm sure. So a clown is, like I said, many things. I would say definitely a mediator in between the audience and the acrobat, the amazing, incredible acrobat. There's this middle ground where the clown is, and the clown is definitely talented and skilled, but also clumsy and ridiculous. And a clown brings play and light and laughter and also just truth. There.
Nice.
Did I just steal all of your stuff?
No.
Good.
I was gonna say a clown is somebody who wears polka dots and dances around in their underwear.
That's not what you're gonna say.
That was one thing I was
Okay,
gonna say.
okay.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the question, and I think why so many people find it difficult to answer is because it's like an athlete. An athlete can be a swimmer who wears a swimsuit and is in water, but an athlete can also be a football player who's covered up in pads and got, paint on their face ready to go. So it spans such a variety of bodies, shapes, costumes, all of that it depends on the style of clowning that you want to do. And that, of course, is culturally specific, depending on what country you're from, depending on what, era, because clown, as Jamie mentioned, Jamie Coventry, this
me.
man right here, as he mentioned, that clowning is an ancient art form. So throughout history, there have been many versions of that as well. So I think that's why it's kind of sometimes hard to put your finger on it, because it can mean different things to different people, as I said, through cultures and time and space and history and black holes.
I would say another thing that's interesting about the clown. Okay, one quote from the clown book is that the clown is the ultimate actor, and not just you've heard of a triple threat: singing, dancing, and acting. Well, the clown can also juggle and do some acrobatics and
Play an instrument, perhaps.
some magic. But they also allow us to sort of step outside of the performance and see. No, that's not exactly what I was going to say at all. What I was going to say is they break the fourth wall. And that's a really interesting element as far as actors and acting goes, is that type of theater that clown is that they're here with us in the same now moment.
Yep, I think that's the whole crux of it.
Clowning to me is just making people happy. It's kind of that amplified self. So it's, I don't know. It's such a loaded question to ask, what is a clown? A clown is light and happy and joy. It's reality. It's dirty and gritty. It's kind of everything combined all into one that we present for the audience so they can see themselves in us and laugh and enjoy and see the terror and the worry and kind of watch someone else go through it and live that life for them.
I should have anticipated this very obvious question, but it's a really hard question. I could talk for 45 minutes about this, but I won't. I guess in a nutshell, I would say it is a way of being that is about being extremely present in one's response to oneself and other people and the world in an authentic and often, but not always, playful kind of way.
It's what is a clown question? It's a pretty interesting question, because I think it's in the eye of the beholder. It's in the dynamic, it's in the relationship, it's in the way that the performer and audience work together. I remember seeing one of the best clowns I've ever seen was on the streets of Edinburgh during the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And he was a street performer, and he looked normal, but if you looked at him a little bit longer than just a glance, you realized that no, that suit that he was wearing that looked like a business suit was completely ripped up and torn and sort of off in a way. But he had this cheerful attitude, and he was doing an old mime bit where he's pretending to walk like the people that he's walking behind people, sort of imitating their walk and that kind of thing. And I was transfixed. But that's what a clown can do. That a clown can just take what is in the world and pull it in a way and reflect it and share it back in a way that we can see it in a new way, and in a way that is amusing, engaging, relevant, and delightful. So what is a clown? A clown is a person dedicated to self-reflection, in order to find the truth, to bring out the funny, to bring out the laugh of recognition, the laugh of a shared joy, a shared pain, a shared frustration, a shared appetite, reminding us of what it's like to be human. And the clowns, one thing I think that separates clowns from, well, let me say this about the clowns. The work is not up here. It's sort of here and in the gut and lower. I mean, the clowns come from some other place. And it's a magical pursuit because, you know, it's not easy.
What is a clown? A clown is, I think all of us have a clown in us, or maybe multiple clowns. You know, the clown is the part of us that is most open and most honest. And it's not always the good parts of us, you know, it's the parts of ourselves that we almost have no control over. You know, the side of us that when we're hungry, we get hangry, right? Like that's, if you make it funny, that's a clown. So our desires, our fears, our loves, our hates, I think all of those like extreme parts of ourselves are where we can really dive into the clown. Clowning is, it's open, it's honest, it connects directly to the audience. You know, the clown isn't aware of there being things like fourth walls or they talk to anybody who's there, or connect with anyone who is there, whether that's partners on stage, props on stage, the audience, the world around them, because of that openness. Clowning, you know, one of the things they told us in clown school is clowning is 51% comedy and 49% tragedy, because a lot of clowning is born out of heartbreak or the things that we want but can't have, the mistakes, our failings, our vulnerabilities. But if you take it, you know, if you can dive into it a little bit and not take it too seriously, it's something we can all laugh at. It's something we can all connect to, because we all have that inside of us.
Clowning is bringing out all your mistakes, all your weird ideas, and rearranging them into a form that can make people laugh or get some way of seeing joy in life, connecting you with your audience in a way that other circus performers don't really do. The clown is the link from the audience into the circus, the kind of way in. And the clown, unlike a lot of circus, in which it doesn't really come in to play, is that you use parts of yourself to create your clown, so it's more a part of you than in some of the other disciplines.
Clowning to me is a way of being in the world. It's how you are all the time. It's not like tennis or something like that. It's like how you be, how you are all the time. And clowns know this. If you talk to other clowns and you go, oh, yeah, can we get a bunch of the clowns to do this thing? And I'm like, do you really want the clowns to do that? Because like I used to always say when people said they're afraid of clowns, I would always say, you should be afraid of clowns, because do you really want the clowns to like rearrange your kitchen? Do you want clowns to come and throw you a birthday party? I mean, what do you want? You're asking people to bring their most chaotic energy into an activity playfully. So like if you have a prop, are you going to let the clowns play with it? If you want it broken, yes. Right? You never give anything to the clowns that you wouldn't want them to break, because they will inevitably find so many ways to play with it that you can't even imagine, that the thing will just come apart, whatever it is. I've seen it a lot of times. But it's a way of being. It's a way of being. It's not even like a lifestyle choice. It's like so much more than that. It's like being a witch. I always think it's like being a witch or a shaman. I understand a clown as a shaman more than I understand a clown as a burger salesman or a juggling person or I mean, all those things could also happen, but it comes back to that thing, that being a transgressive, ecstatic spirit worker. And I got that definition from Fio Guidi Parma, who's an author who writes about witches. And when I heard them say that, I was like, oh my God, that's the definition of a clown.
To show any frailty in his character. We all play characters in life. We all try to be what we are not, just to impress the people around. And being a clown is just not doing that. It's, sometimes they say it's to bring the child in yourself. No, it's not the child. It's just the innocence and the ridiculousness and the inability to really fit. We all try to fit in a very artificial way, and it just let's be yourself, and doesn't fit, fine. It's funny, you miss, fine. It's what humanity is about, and it's very personal. A clown cannot be defined by a makeup, which I don't like too much makeup, certainly not heavy makeups like it has been for a long time the tradition in America, because for me it's a mask. A light makeup works and sometimes is useful to just bring your character. Chaplin had a makeup, Keaton had a makeup, you didn't see it too much. Groucho Marx had a makeup, but it worked. It was not something which was hiding anything. Accessories too. Why big shoes? I mean, because Little Teach did that in the 19th century or early 20th century. It's not necessary. Accessories bring something to a character, like Keaton hat or Chaplin costumes, Groucho mustache and cigar. This help to define the persona of the clown, but you mustn't hide behind accessories, makeup, costumes, and things like that.
If you think about clowns, just think about the 135 people who went through the Clown Conservatory when I was directing. Okay, that small unit of clowns in one very tiny sample. You've got people who are musical clowns, acrobatic clowns. You have people who use clowning in massage therapy. There's people who are bringing almost no skills to their clowning, like someone like Mookie Cornish, who has mad skills, but she does not use her musical skills, which she has in her clowning. Her clowning, which is at a very high level, is almost entirely how she relates to the audience. So I think that's key to clowning. And I also think clowning has a humanizing factor. If you think of some of the traditional uses of clowning within a big saga, the story of a big saga, and perhaps that saga is being told in an ancient language, and so everything has pomp and maybe war and love, and then for the break, the clowns come in speaking the local dialect, and it's just really human, embodied and human.
As a poet who is also an orangutan,
Yeah,
because it speaks to like the play, but it also speaks to the precision and like the discipline that goes into creating some of the magic that clowns can bring. So